In this video, we've got two top choices for low-profile mechanical 75% keyboards, the NuPhy Air75 and the Keychron K3 Pro. All right, I've been wanting to do this comparison for a while. I've even gotten some comments in my other comparison videos, so it's time to put these head to head and see which one is the better option. There are a couple of key differences between these keyboards, but when it comes to overall what you're getting for the money, they both pack a lot of features in for the price. Let's start with a quick rundown of the K3 Pro, and then we will do pros and cons compared to the Air75. All right, the K3 Pro is of course a 75% ANSI layout with 84 keys. It is a floating key design with no bezel, giving it a super compact look. The case has an aluminum top and an ABS plastic bottom. The pricing of the K3 Pro might seem a little bit confusing because Keychron gives you a few different options and formats that you can buy it in. The version I have is the full RGB hot swappable option, which costs $114. And if you buy that direct from Keychron, there is a $15 standard shipping charge to the United States. So that winds up with a total price of $129. However, you can also buy the K3 Pro direct from Keychron in a non-hot swappable option and with a solid white only backlight. And those options bring the price all the way down to $94. Now, you can also currently, as of the time that I'm filming this in late May 2023, you can get the K3 Pro RGB hot swappable option on Amazon for $119.99 with free shipping, at least for right now. Prices on Amazon change all the time, though. The K3 Pro comes with your choice of red, brown, or blue Gateron low-profile 2.0 switches. The keycaps included are not shine-through, but they are PBT, which is nice for the price point of over $100. I personally kind of expect PBT keycaps, so I'm happy to see that they've included that. Keychron also includes Mac keycaps for you, so you don't have to worry about buying any separate keycaps if you're a Mac user. And for the K3 Pro model, I should note that Keychron did adjust the positioning of the stabilizers so that they are parallel. And so what that means is now you'll be able to use a little bit of a wider range of keycaps if you don't like the ones that it comes with. Previously on Keychron's low-profile keyboards, they were using the offset stabilizer position, which created that triangular shape. Connectivity includes the USB-C wired connection as well as 3 Bluetooth 5.1 connections, and you switch between those with the 1, 2, and 3 keys on the K3 Pro. However, there is no 2.4 gigahertz wireless option with the K3 Pro. That is just something that Keychron seems like they don't do. They generally stick to Bluetooth and wired connections. The RGB backlighting has 22 different mode options, so you've got plenty of variety there for your RGB. As far as typing positions go, you've got fold-out feet here that have 2 positions to give you 2 additional angles. And one nice thing that I appreciate about the K3 Pro is that Keychron gave us rubber grippy feet in the correct position to use this keyboard laid flat over the top of a laptop keyboard. With these rubber feet positioned like this, they will not be laying on top of any keys or pressing on them, so you can use the K3 Pro laid flat on top of a laptop. The battery in the K3 Pro is 1550 milliamp hour, which provides up to 100 hours of use with the backlighting off, or up to 33 hours with the backlighting on the lowest setting. So if you have your backlighting on the highest setting, you're gonna get less than 33 hours. If you are gonna be using this as your primary keyboard day in and day out, then that shorter battery life might be a little disappointing for you unless you're going to be using it in the wired connection mode. All right, let's start our comparison of the K3 Pro to the Air75. Dimension-wise, we've got a slight difference between the K3 Pro and the Air75. If your workspace is super cramped and space is just at a premium, the K3 Pro saves you just a little bit of space over the Air75, both in terms of length and in depth. When it comes to the user experience, the K3 Pro, in my opinion, has a nice quality typing feel for the money. And these actually have the same switches in them. They both have Gateron low profile 2.0 brown switches. However, between different keycaps and a different construction of these two keyboards, it does feel different. The NuPhy's typing experience feels a little bit more firm with maybe just a tiny bit less wobble. There's a little bit of wobble on the K3 Pro. Of course, from a sound standpoint, you are gonna notice a difference between these two. Being a floating key design without anything to sort of like hold the sound in, the K3 Pro doesn't have that like metallic, deeper, thockier sound, which you're not going to get a lot of that with a low-profile keyboard anyway, but there's a little bit more of it there with the Air75, and there will be a full sound test at the end of the video so you can really hear that comparison. Now, in terms of pros and cons here, I'm going to have to get a little bit nitpicky because the K3 Pro is a good low-profile mechanical keyboard. There is not a lot to say that I would strongly dislike about it. But if we compare the keycaps, I do prefer NuPhy's keycaps, and I don't just mean the look. They feel like they are a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier. They're both PBT, but there's just something a little bit more satisfying about the feel of the NuPhy keycaps. And also the keycaps on the NuPhy have a flat top profile, whereas Keychron's low profile PBT keycaps have this little bit of slant to them. They're slanted forward away from you. It's fine, but if you gave me a choice, I'd prefer the keycaps on the NuPhy. Let's talk about one specific thing here. I do think the NuPhy Air75 has an objectively better feel and experience, and that's the spacebar. If you take a quick listen to the spacebar sound on the Air75, very stable, no rattle. Now the K3 Pro, it's stable. It's not wobbly or anything, but there's a little bit of stabilizer rattle there. It's just not quite as satisfying. Now, I mentioned that you can place the K3 Pro on top of a laptop. However, you can also do that with the Air75, but I still give the advantage to the K3 Pro in terms of the adjustable feet department because the Air75, it has these removable feet. They're magnetic. So there's a couple reasons why I don't love that. One is just that small detachable things are easy to lose, and I do lose things. The other reason is just that that only gives you one extra typing position, whereas most manufacturers now are going with fold-out feet that offer 2 positions. However, as I started to say, because of the shape of these feet being so thin with the raised feet removed, you can actually use the Air75 on top of a laptop, at least on top of a MacBook. So they both can do that. However, I'd still give the advantage on the feet and the adjustability of the typing position to the K3 Pro. Let's talk customization for a second. That is a category where I have to give the advantage to the K3 Pro as well. So another pro in favor of the K3 Pro is that it is QMK VIA compatible. I haven't mentioned that up to this point, but I think that definitely is an advantage. If you are somebody that likes to do remapping, or if you need to do remapping, if you need to add macros, if you want to have multiple layers, you know, it's just easier to do it in VIA software in my experience compared to the NuPhy console software that you have to use if you want to do any of that remapping or customization on NuPhy's keyboards. NuPhy console is also only available for Windows currently. It's not yet available for Mac. Let's talk some pros in favor of the Air75 now, though. Let's go back to the battery life here. The battery in the Air75 is 2,500 milliamp hour compared to 1,550 here. The battery life expectation for the Air75 is around 300 hours if you have the backlighting off, and that goes from anywhere from 24 to 50 hours when you have the backlighting on, depending on what brightness level you have. So with your backlighting on, you're actually not going to get significantly more battery life out of the Air75, but with the backlighting off, you are going to get a pretty significantly different battery life experience here. So I have to give the advantage. The Pro is in favor of the Air75. Speaking of RGBs, they're pretty much tied in that regard. You've got 21 modes of RGBs with the Air75. Another pro in favor of the Air75 is that it offers 2.4 gigahertz wireless connectivity in addition to 3 Bluetooth options and the wired option. So it's got the same connectivity as the K3 Pro, but it adds the 2.4 gigahertz, which if you're worried about latency or disconnects and things like that, 2.4 gigahertz is just a more reliable and stable connection. When it comes to pricing, if you buy direct from NuPhy, you are looking at $109.95 for the Air75 plus $15 standard shipping to the US. So you're talking $125 versus a full price if you buy direct from Keychron for the K3 Pro of $129 for the RGB hot swap option. And I should mention that NuPhy does not offer all those different configurations. There is one way to buy the Air75. It is nice that they offer all those different configurations. So if you don't care about full color RGBs because you're not going to use them, you can just get the white only model and pay a little bit less. However, I should note I do have a coupon code for NuPhy that'll get you 10% off your purchase. So if you use coupon code SEMIPRO on NuPhy's website, that would actually bring your total price for the Air75 down to $115. Ultimately, when it comes to typing feel and experience, I have to give the slight edge to the NuPhy Air75. So in terms of deal breakers for the K3 Pro compared to the Air75, if you really are looking for that 2.4 gigahertz connectivity and better battery life, I think those two things would be stronger reasons to not go for the K3 Pro. But if those two things are not super high on your priority list, then honestly, I think you'd be happy with either one. So that's it for this comparison. I hope you found it helpful. It was not that easy for me because these are both nice 75% low profile keyboards. I'm gonna leave you now with the sound test so you can get a better feel for the sound differences between them. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found the video helpful and subscribe to the Semi-Pro Tech and Gear channel if you haven't. Thanks everybody. See you next time.